Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Cryptid Cocktail Party, a show where we have a few drinks, share a few laughs, take a dive into the unknown. I'm your host Dave, joined as always by the Yule Log, aka Sarge. What's going on, buddy?
What up? It's the holiday season and I don't have to work for a little more than a week, so I have started drinking.
I mean, what better time than now? Plus,
Yeah.
Also, I'm so jealous. I wish my company works like that, where, hey, you know what? There's nothing going on. Let's just not come into work. But
there's no reason to be here. We're not accomplishing anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to go. I'm going to do my job the best I can. And then, whatever.
I mean, it's very different from the world I came from. I mean, working in retail, everybody, your life is just one big nightmare, working from the beginning of the holidays all the way through 12-hour days.
Yeah.
Now I work for a company where everybody starts their vacation a week before the holidays and doesn't end their vacation until a week after the holidays. So I just don't have anything to do for like 3 weeks. And so I'm off for a week, but last week I was basically off, and the week that I come back, I'll basically be off.
That's kind of basically how it's going to be where I am, but
I feel like I earned it. I feel like I put in my dues working as a waiter and working in retail. And now I'm going to be a corporate shill, and I'm okay with that.
I was going to say, this sounds very, I
don't know. I'm a cog in the machine. I get it. I know what I am.
I almost said class traitor. But I feel like that's a little.
No, because I'm undermining the system from the inside.
Gotcha. That's how you do it.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying my time off, but I'm still.
Yeah, but you're still sticking it to the man.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Because I'm hourly.
Oh yeah, me too.
Because I'm hourly. So I can still do overtime. And that's how I stick it to the man. Oh, you need this done by 5:00? I got so many other things I need to do after 5:00 now.
Yeah, it might be like 7 o'clock. Like these things take time. I don't think you understand that they take time. Can't just get exactly. All right.
Well, it's even funnier because I don't even have to lie, because we regularly have calls with our partners in California. So they're like, no, you can punch out a couple hours if you want. I'm like, no. I'm going to work until 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time after starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to roll with it.
Yeah. Why would I clock out? I'll take an extra 15, call it a day. We're good.
Exactly.
All right, Sarge. Well, today, as I'm sure you know, is our holiday episode. If you're wondering why I'm wearing this Santa Claus hat, it actually works really well with the headphones. I was very concerned it was going to look stupid.
It actually looks really good.
I wear it
Strangely enough, it looks like it's supposed to fit.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be that way.
Not bad, right?
It's good.
I didn't take 10 minutes to make it look this way. It's fine. But yeah, it's a holiday season, so I figured we're going to do a holiday folklore. We'll get into it. But anyway, so for most people, they associate the holiday season with Santa Claus, eggnog, and frantic runs to 7-Eleven to grab a Christmas card and some scratch tickets the morning of because you forgot to get your dad a real gift, which is something I have done several times.
Been there.
I've actually done it so much that when I wrote "because you forgot" in my script, I actually put "I forgot," which means
you're telling on yourself. Hopefully your dad doesn't listen.
No, my dad doesn't even know how to find a podcast, even if he wanted to.
Perfect. Perfect. Same with my dad, so we're good.
But since this show is what it is and we are who we are, we're gonna bum everyone out and talk about the darker side of the holidays. Last year we covered Gria and the Yule Lads. This is before your time. But in keeping in that tradition, we're gonna cover another legend in the annals of folklore history, and that is Krampus. Now, how much do you know about Krampus?
I don't know a lot about Krampus. I don't even know where he's from. But what I will say is I'm really glad that you didn't do the Scandinavian holiday traditions, because they also have a problematic member of Santa's little team there. But we're not going to talk about him.
Sarge. So last week's episode, after the episode ended, we talked about what we might do for this holiday episode, and you brought up Swarthy Pete.
Oh my God.
And
so racist. So racist.
It took everything in my being to not lie to you and say that we were covering something else and then just cover that instead. It's
I mean, there's no way to joke about it. So I'd be out this episode. I'd just be like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. There's a blonde man with blackface. That's problematic.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's really bad. But no, we're gonna be covering Krampus.
It's so bad. Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to include other different, like, because for most people they know Krampus as like his Santa's associate or whatever, and there's a lot of other Santa associates out in the wild, but a lot of them, like you said, are kind of fucked up and weird, and also there's a lot to Krampus that I didn't know and a lot of history behind him that's really interesting, so I was able to fill a whole episode about it, so we're gonna do that now.
I'm so excited.
All right,
so excited.
Krampus has been lurking in the snow-dusted alpine regions for centuries, like pre-Christian pagan shit. Like back in the day, there was no Christmas for Krampus to be associated with. He was more tied to things like the Winter Solstice rituals, fertility gods, and even the wild hunt. Basically, people feared the dark, the cold, and the unknown. So with something like the Winter Solstice, where it can't get much colder or darker than that, it makes sense that like a legend like Krampus would be born to embody those things, because my guy, does he embody the hell out of them? First of all, like, dude is just an all-around nightmare. Just in appearance alone, never mind the other stuff that we're going to cover. He's described as, like, he's basically a part goat, part demon, part just absolute fucking menace. He's covered in...
Oh, good.
He's covered in thick, matted fur, usually black or brown, and has these massive curling goat horns sprouting from his head. His face is pretty gnarly. If you've ever seen like an artist rendition, you know what I'm talking about. He's got sharp fangs, a snout-like nose, and glowing eyes, red or yellow, depending on who's telling the story. And then there's his tongue. It's long and snake-like. It's kind of like, it's like his signature feature. I don't know if you've ever seen any artist rendition. He always has that really long tongue. It's kind of like, you know, those party favors that are just like rolled up pieces of paper with like a noisemaker on the end, and you blow it and it extends. It's like that, but the tongue of a demon. If that makes sense.
So it's like a non-Jewish version of Gene Simmons.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Mrs. Krampus is very happy.
It took everything in my being to not make some sort of cunnilingus joke or something.
That's why I'm on the show.
Exactly.
That's what I'm here for. I bring the goods.
So the Krampus figure, in one form or another, had been around for centuries, and people know him today as being Santa's right-hand man, pretty much. But like I said, Krampus predates Christmas and Santa by fucking a long time. I don't know the exact dates when he whatever, but
like, what happened to these people that they were like, you know what we need? A goat monster that terrorizes children.
Well, so you're probably wondering, how did he become Santa's like closest companion?
Yes, what the fuck is going on here?
So when Christianity began to spread through Europe, the church, they never are, but they weren't too keen on pagan figures like Krampus. He was horned, wild, connected to fertility and the wilderness, and we just can't have that. That's like a walking PR nightmare for the Christian church. That's everything they're trying to avoid you believing in. But I almost said to their credit, but instead of just like stamping like Krampus out of
never give credit to the church.
Yeah, instead of like fucking kicking him out of there, like the church has done so many times before, they decided to co-opt him. Not that it's much better, but I mean, it's kind of cool that they did keep that kind of stuff around. They might have learned something from the Romans where they were like, you can keep your fucking things, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Wait till I tell you about where Christmas ornaments come from.
But the 12th century, Krampus was paired with jolly old St. Nicholas, creating essentially like a good cop, bad cop dynamic with the two. The church even added chains to Krampus's imagery, symbolizing his submission to Christian authority. So,
that's good.
Yeah. So if you're wondering why you
nothing says Christianity like taking a demon and using it to your advantage.
Yeah, it was pretty much like,
don't like get rid of it. Don't kill it.
Yeah.
Make it work for you.
It was pretty much like, we know he's a demon, but like, look at those chains. He's our demon. Pretty cool, huh? Trying to be hip and cool to the youth of today. Yeah, you guys like demons? We got one. Huh? Pretty cool.
Oh, no.
But pretty much it went like Saint Nick became the kind and benevolent figure rewarding good children, while Krampus handled all the dirty work that Santa was too much of a coward himself to do, which was to punish the children who were naughty and wicked. So
that fucking fat pussy. Fuck you, Santa.
So what kind of punishments are we talking here? Well, he has a variety of them in his toolkit, and they range from mildly concerning to just absolute overkill as far as being a bad child goes. Now, the most common punishment, a whipping with birch sticks. I'm sure you've all seen the imagery of Krampus where he has that bundle of sticks. He uses that to fucking thwack kids with it. Yeah. No, he would do it just hard enough to like sting and leave welts. It was meant to be like a physical reminder to fucking shape up, bud, or you're out of here kind of thing. But if a kid's behavior was particularly bad, Krampus fucking took it up, like cranked that shit to 11. He's been said to shove kids into his sack or basket and cart them off to his lair in the mountains. And from there, the stories get a little dark as to what he does with said children. He might boil them alive, drown them in an icy river, or simply eat them. Some legends even claim that he will just skip all those steps and drag your kid straight to hell. Which,
okay.
I mean, it's brutal, but goddamn, that's some effective messaging. Like,
if you have a shitty kid,
yeah, the threat,
like
of,
if you
just he's gonna drag you straight to hell. Like, just skips
right?
all the other steps.
Just doing everybody a favor.
Yeah. Now, specific folklore tales from Krampus, like they're few and far between, or at least in my search for them, which was not very in depth, but there are some that, and they vary from region to region, but they all share the same theme: punish the wicked and reward the virtuous. And I have to say, I feel like those are pretty strong adjectives to describe children, right? Like wicked and virtuous. Like, whose fucking kids are we?
Yeah, it's like your fault if your kid's fucked up, right? Like parents are just like, no, that he was born wicked. No, you made him wicked.
But also, I've never seen a kid act up and been like, that's a wicked child, or a kid being well behaved and like, that's a very virtuous kid. Like, I feel like those are very strong descriptive terms for how a kid should behave or shouldn't behave, I guess.
That's a little much.
Yeah. Well, anyways, in one story, Krampus visits a small alpine village on Krampusnacht, where he knocks on doors to demand the names of misbehaving children. And the parents, they were like, oh yeah, dude, my kid fucking sucks. And they would list off all the offenses their kids had done that year. And then Krampus would haul off like the worst offenders and bring them back to his lair to do one of the 8 things that we just said he might do to your child.
They fucking dime out their kids.
Yeah. We'll circle back to that. Now, another tale tells the story of a defiant boy who tries to challenge Krampus and decides he's going to fight the beast with a stick. Krampus just laughs, grabs the kid, and hauls him off, disappearing into the forest. Now, when I was looking into these stories, they both were described as cautionary tales. The second one I get, I like, don't be a little hellion and you won't be human trafficked by a demon.
Right.
But the first one, I think you caught on to it, is that these parents were so ready to get rid of those fucking kids that they were just like, oh yeah, dude, this kid, piece of shit. Here, let me tell you everything he's done all year. And then you know what? If you want to take him, that's up to you. Like, wild, right?
Why is it like half the stories from back then, like half the fairy tales, are just terrible parents releasing their children into the wild or feeding them to Krampus?
Yeah. Like, they were like, no, Krampus, look, my kid is worse, like way worse than the kid next door. Like, please take my shitty 9-year-old and just drag him straight to hell. Like,
I'm done with you, Skylar.
Fucking right. Like, it's just wild to me that these parents were just on a dime ready to fucking turn heel and just fuck these kids right up.
Now,
like,
you said Krampus was like kind of German, right?
Yeah, it's like that. Yeah.
Oh, so it's it's like follows along the same lines as like Hansel and Gretel. Like shitty parents that are just like, well, we can't feed you anymore, so we're just gonna take you out to the woods and hope for the best.
It's pretty, yeah. Like,
and those were good kids.
Well, that's what also made me think is like, did they tell these like that story to their kids? Like, obviously, it's to make them behave. That makes sense to me. But like, if they're like, hey, food's a little tight right now, it's the year 1400, so like either you act right or we're gonna fucking send you off so that way we could have more to eat. Like, we're fucking dying because of you. It had to be something like that, right?
Can you imagine the parents like sitting around the dinner table after the kids go to bed and they're like, well, the plague didn't take Hans, so I guess we gotta feed him to Krampus.
Fucking at that point, just eat your kid. Like,
yeah, what the fuck?
Like, if you're looking to survive,
goddamn savages.
Yeah. But anyways, let's go back to something I mentioned in that first story, the one where the parents fucked up.
They dime out their kids because they're terrible monsters. Yeah.
And that is I mentioned Krampusnacht, which translated means in German Krampus night. So
I wanted to ask about this.
Yeah, so what questions do you have?
No. You go, and then if I still have questions after, because I feel like a lot of the times I ask a question, and then you're like, "Yeah, I was just going to talk about that." So I'm gonna wait and let you do your thing, and then I'm gonna come in if I got anything that wasn't cleared up.
Okay, so every year on December 5th, the night before St. Nicholas Day, Krampus emerges to roam the streets. It's a wild night for some of those alpine towns. Like, people dress up in elaborate Krampus costumes, complete with horns, masks, and chains, and parade through the streets in what's called a Krampuslauf, or Krampus run. These events are loud, chaotic, and often involve fire dances, drinking, and a whole bunch of just scaring the shit out of children.
So it's basically like it's like
in
Boston,
the Santa thing in New York and Boston. Yeah, it's basically that, but Krampuses.
Well, we have the underwear run too, where everybody gets in their underwear and they put on Santa hats and they run down Newbury Street.
That's tracks.
Yeah. So this is basically that, except that, like, instead of women named Becky throwing up eggnog out in front of like, you know, high-end shops, it's women named Olga throwing up eggnog outside of high-end shops.
I don't know if there's high-end shops, but definitely the same vibes there. It's
oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Now the tradition of Krampusnacht is part festival, part performance art, and it's been going strong for centuries. Now we're going to fast forward to the 19th century, and Krampus starts to evolve. Enter the Krampus carton, or Krampus cars. They're basically just holiday cards that either screamed Merry Christmas or run for your fucking life. And these cards these cards rule. So yeah, they're basically Christmas greeting cards, like holiday cards, and they either showed Krampus chasing kids, stuffing them into sacks, or whipping them with like glee on his face. But they weren't all doom and gloom. Some were uncharacteristically lighthearted, which was like the Merry Christmas ones that they would show Krampus just like pretty much living his best life, drinking schnapps, flirting and kissing on women, like
just getting fucking shit wrecked.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Krampus is kind of a freak. It's nice. It's good to see him kind of like letting loose after a long day of just dragging 9-year-olds.
A long day of stealing your children. No, so you didn't answer my question directly, but since we've already moved past the timing of this, I just want to make sure I've got this clear. Is it like what, the 23rd of December is Krampusnacht?
It's the 5th.
The 5th of December?
Yeah.
I've already missed it?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Sorry, buddy.
Because this is like a thing that I want to do with my kids.
I mean, you could have your own Krampus tradition. It doesn't have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
You don't have to. Follow.
I really want to mess with it. I want to terrify the shit out of my children.
Okay, there's a Krampus guy in Philly. He dresses up as Krampus, and he does like all these different charity things and stuff like that. He's actually tonight at 5:00. He's going to be at this new bar that opened up that serves bone marrow, and you can once you finish the bone marrow, you can pay like $20 and they'll luge a shot down the bone marrow. Like,
oh, amazing.
Yeah. So we might hit that up after this so I can get some photos of Krampus. But yeah, you can
Please do.
You can hire a Krampus to come and terrorize your children if you really want to.
I'm totally doing that.
There's got to be a Boston Krampus. I feel like there's a Krampus in every state that like does things like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
and honestly, I feel like Krampus very much has like South Boston energy. Oh, you are fucking dick this Christmas? Guess what you're gonna get? You're gonna get brought right down to hell, you little shit.
It's very towny energy.
Yeah. No, come on, little Billy O'Sullivan. You're fucked, kid.
I feel like Krampus wouldn't be too kind to the Irish either. So I mean, it kind of tracks as well.
No one has been kind to the Irish, really.
Can you blame them?
They haven't had a great. Oh no. We just lost every listener in Boston. Great.
I'm Irish. It's fine. I can say that shit.
I'm part Irish. I actually know where my family came from, so I'm Irish enough. I've never been there, so I don't call myself Irish. But my family,
yeah,
like everyone else in this goddamn cesspool.
All right.
They weren't suffering enough in England. They were like, hey, in the UK, they were like, hey, you know what would be great if it was colder and more rocky somewhere.
Oh, so why don't they just go to Maine?
I mean, it's fucking 10 degrees right now in Boston, so.
That's fair. All right, we're moving on now. But again, fuck the Irish. It's fine. Now, fast forward again. And by the early 20th century, Krampus wasn't exactly in everyone's good graces. The rise of more wholesome Christmas imagery, like the Coca-Cola Santa, aka capitalism and consumerism, pushed Krampus back into the shadows where he kind of rightfully belongs.
Yeah.
But also, we can't forget, everyone's favorite type of people, the fascists. In the 1930s, Austrian fascists actually banned Krampus, calling him a dangerous symbol of paganism and immorality. Even the Nazis, who later on tried to sanitize Christmas traditions, they gave Krampus the cut, which is weird to me because the Nazis, they kind of loved all that weird occult pagan shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, nothing really says Nazi like a guy who steals people's children.
True. And I didn't include this in the script, but this didn't exist back in the pagan times, but there are some Krampus depictions out there that may or may not be kind of anti-Semitic in their portrayal of him. I mean, not like obviously they're making that shit up. It's not you know what I mean? Like, but you would think, I feel like Krampus really fit into what the Nazis would fucking be stoked on. Am I wrong there? Is it weird for me to say that? I'm not pushing.
I'm not pushing. The very fact that they pushed him away is probably, what lost them the war.
Actually, if you've ever read Man in the High Castle, it's basically what would happen if the Nazis had kept Krampus into.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was said that Krampus just didn't, quote unquote, fit their vision. Whatever the fuck that means.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
If anything fits their vision of severity and taking it up maybe too many notches, it's fucking Krampus.
To go from light lashing with a stick to dragging straight to hell. Yeah, I feel.
Yeah. When you think of like Weimar Germany and then Nazi Germany, like Krampus should have been flourishing in Nazi Germany.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like we're doing like PR right now for Nazis.
Krampus. Krampus and Nazis.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they did take over America, so
but
it's like if Man in the High Castle were written by Mike Judge.
That's actually pretty good. That's a good one. All right. But here's the thing. So even though the Nazis and the the Austrian government, like they banned it, but in rural alpine villages, like Krampus never really left. Locals
You're never going to take it away. Yeah, the locals are always going to keep it.
Yeah, they kept that tradition alive, passing them down through generations. And by the mid 20th century, Krampus came roaring back. Like Krampus knocked and the Krampuslauf, that the chaotic Krampus parade where people ran through the streets and terrified the children. Those became a staple in Austria and Germany, which Krampus was both banned. So it makes sense that when they were finally able to celebrate it again, it came back in full fucking force. This time it had even more theatrics than before, more fire, better costumes, but it was still mixed with like the centuries old traditions and like just enough chaos to keep it fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by now, Krampus was no longer just like a scary myth. He was like being celebrated in a way that he wasn't celebrated before, which is fucking awesome. I love to see
I love it.
You love
I love
to
it
see it
so much.
But the Krampus revival like didn't stop there. By the late 20th century, he started creeping into like global pop culture. Like we didn't really hear about Krampus in the States for a long. I mean, we kind of had a vague idea of what it was, but it really started like the late 20th century. So like there's that 2015 trash fucking horror movie called Krampus that turned him into like a full blown Christmas villain. He's shown up in TV shows like Supernatural, American Dad, and of course you can't forget the merch. Krampus.
No, The Office. He was in The Office too. Dwight Schrute.
So that wasn't Krampus. That was
it wasn't
Belschnickel, which is kind of like Krampus. It's the same thing, but he was a person, not a demon. I think that's like Pennsylvania Dutch.
Well, that
shit.
sucks. I was really now I'm mad. I don't know why I thought that was Krampus. I'm so annoyed with that.
Well, no, it's because it's basically the same thing. Like, it's a dude.
Germany just has too many things that hate you. Well, at Christmas time,
I think it's one of those things where like the Pennsylvania Dutch came over and then they just kind of made their own version of it. If that makes sense.
Okay. Okay.
He has all the same vibes. He has the sticks that he whipped people with. Yeah. That whole thing. But I think Belschnickel was a person. It wasn't a demon.
Okay. Okay.
Although I guess a demon can pretend to be a person. I don't fully know. I didn't research Belschnickel. I researched Krampus. So I have no fucking idea.
This is a Baba Yaga situation. It's getting away from us.
Yeah. But like I said, Krampus nowadays is on everything. You got ugly Christmas sweaters, beer cans. You got this sick fucking t-shirt.
Krampus knocked. That'd be such a good metal album.
Yeah. Like you name, like he's on everything. And so Krampus now, at least here, he's officially become part of like the modern holiday lineup. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that makes sense. Yeah. But here's the thing. Krampus isn't just about scaring kids or selling merch. He's a symbol of balance. Winter is dark and cold, like life isn't all candy canes and carols. And Krampus reminds us that with joy comes consequences, with light comes shadow. He's the yin to Santa's yang. But whether you see him as
Santa's jolly, chubby yang.
but
he's a thick boy.
But whether you see him as, you know, a scary Christmas cryptid or what have you, a misunderstood anti-hero, or just a goat demon doing his job, Krampus is here to stay. You know, he survives centuries, fascists, bad movies, you know, and he's still around and making sure that we don't forget, you know, like the darker side of the holidays. So there you go. That is the story of Krampus. I
love him.
Yeah, it's not bad. I learned a lot more than I thought. I thought I knew pretty much whatever there was. He's a guy or a demon that just beats kids until they're good again. Turns out he's kind of a nightmare and will murder your children. And obviously the parents are cool with it because they're willingly giving them up to him, which is wild. So, Sarge, how are we feeling about Krampus? What have we learned? What is the takeaway? Do you have any questions, concerns? I might be able to answer some of them. I have no idea.
I mean, as somebody who appreciates a good Baphomet, I love that there's a Christmas version.
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah. This is...
Wait, wouldn't Baphomet just be like the actual Christmas version?
Shh, don't do that.
I'm just saying. If we're
you're
really thinking about it.
It's like I have a Baphomet that hangs on my Christmas tree, and then I have the one that hangs behind me. But also having like especially Yule related Baphomet would be.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great.
It's kind of the vibe that he has.
I want my kids to embrace it. I want my children to be terrified.
Well, now that you know when Krampusnacht is, and you know all this stuff, you can easily just start doing that. Just ruin your kids' lives. Make them bummed out.
I mean, they're old enough now where they know, like, oh, dad just got a good idea in his head, and we're all going to have to suffer it for a year.
Yeah.
You know, they won't be scared. They'll just be like, oh, Christ. Yeah, Dad. No, he's real scary. Krampus is terrifying.
Krampus could be
Meanwhile,
terrifying if you hired an actual Krampus to come and hit your kids with a stick.
No, I'm thinking I'll just get some stilts that look like goat legs and a long cloak and some birch sticks and just, annoy the shit out of my kids for a night.
Doesn't sound terrible.
I feel like it'll be a fun tradition.
Yeah. And then if that doesn't work, you can just drag them straight to hell.
Straight to hell.
Straight to hell.
Going right down there.
Oh, shit.
They're not bad because I was a bad parent, Satan. They're bad because they're just bad kids.
Yeah, they're bad because society.
Yeah, thanks, Joe Biden.
Violent video games. All this sugary soda, yellow dye number 5. These kids are out of control. We got to do something about it.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
With their TikToks and whatnot.
Oh, thank God that's going away soon. Oh, shit. All right, Sarge. Well, that is our Christmas special. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I hope you guys have a happy holiday, whatever you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate at all, I hope you just have a good December 25th, whatever you decide to do that day.
Have a good guaranteed day off for almost everyone.
Exactly.
And for those of you that have to work, make sure you take fucking overtime.
Yeah.
So that you can make even more money.
Or at least shit as much as possible and get paid for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with watching some YouTube videos while you're trying to squeeze one out.
Yeah, nothing's better than pooping and getting paid to poop. That's all I gotta say.
That's the best way to do it, honestly.
All right, Sarge, you got anything you want to plug before we sign off?
You know me. I got all kinds of shit. Just find out our link. Follow that link. Buy my coloring book at sajasupernormal.com. That's still going to be a thing for at least the next 4 years. And listen to this podcast. Listen to more episodes of this podcast. We do a lot of fun stuff, and we're gonna do even more fun stuff.
Are you telling people that are already listening to the podcast to listen to the podcast?
Listen. If you watch any streaming service, they have advertisements for their streaming service on the streaming service. So I'm just, you're here, but you should be here more.
That I can get behind. And if you like what you're hearing, just leave us a rating and review. It'd be kind of fucking cool, I think. You can do it on Spotify and Apple. Yeah, Spotify, Apple. And if you're brand new, it is required that you follow us on Instagram. And your dog's going apeshit on that toy. She's determined. She does not like the Krampus episode. I guess not. But yeah. I was shutting up so you could keep talking. Follow us on Instagram, you savages. Yeah. Follow us on Instagram. It's at Cryptid Cocktail. Follow us on TikTok, Cryptid Cocktail Party, for however long that's going to fucking be around. But also, I'm wearing this fucking sick-ass Krampus Knox shirt. It was done by my buddy Josh Belanger, who runs the Hellmouth Paranormal. It's part of his Krampus Knox box that he did. Actually, hold on. It looks like this. It comes with a t-shirt. Oh, that's awesome. It comes with a Krampus mini enamel pin. It's also got this fucking sick ass kiss sticker, which is funny because you mentioned that before. This little card thing. It's got nice Krampus pinup girl art print in it, and it's also got a comic book that he wrote and did all the art for and stuff like that. Oh, so cool. Yeah, so if you want one of your own, he still has a few left. He's got like 5 sizes, 5 of all the normal sizes, small, medium through large. I guess he's also got a couple 2XL and one 3XL left. So head to the hellmouthparanormal.com. You can get your own Krampus knocked box. It's pretty sick. He's a good friend of mine, so definitely go support him at the Hellmouth Paranormal. Also, he's a tattoo artist at Grim North Tattoo in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So definitely go check that out. Follow him, Josh Belanger, all that stuff. So yeah, with that out of the way, happy holidays. Oh, and drink Narragansett. Yeah, drink Narragansett. They got a cool Christmas can now. This holiday is going to be goddamn miserable for everyone. You need to deal with your racist uncle at dinner, so it would be a lot easier if you had a Narragansett lager in your mouth. Yeah, or if you're the racist uncle, maybe drinking Narragansett while contemplating outside of a window, really deeply thinking about your life choices, and maybe consider changing your ways. Maybe Narragansett can help you with that. Yeah, figure out why everybody hates you and stop doing it. All right, so again, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Have a happy holiday, whatever, or whatever. Who fucking cares? Sarge, do you want to say goodbye and I love you? Goodbye and I love you.